Behind every mission, there's a plan. Behind every plan, there's a soldier, training, leading, and getting the job done. This is the Kentucky National Guard's G3 podcast, where we share the stories, lessons, and leadership that keep our Guard always ready, always there.
Welcome, hello. We're here with the G3 podcast, Fixed Bayonets. I'm your host, Sergeant Benningfield, Sergeant B, for everybody that knows me. I'm here today to hopefully we'll dig some more into some training events and some more training techniques that you can take away just from every day. Hey, we're at drill, we're at the grind, and we're going to pull some stuff out even from life lessons. I hope that everything finds you well. I hope that you had a great holiday season. I hope that you got to spend time with friends and family. It's an important time of year and you checked up on your battle buddies. And also that you're sticking to that New Year's resolution, because like I said, God knows I won't. I'll hit it hard in the gym though, let's just put it that way. But hopefully you're sticking to your resolution. You're having a great start of the year and a great training season. So we have a great episode today for episode number 2. We're here to really kind of dig in deep and with my guest. That being said is Sergeant Major Timothy Nine. Sergeant Major, welcome to the podcast.
Good morning.
Is it Tim or Timmy? What did they call you growing up?
Tim. Several other names, I'm sure, but Tim for the most part.
Tim for the most part, because you look like a Timmy. That's how I'd be. If I was your buddy, I'd lean out that window. Timmy, let's go. But I won't bring it up again. So, Sergeant Major Nine, welcome, though. I'm excited to hear the stories and some training exercises that you've been on and techniques that you've learned over the years. Another seasoned senior NCO. You enlisted back in '96. Was that correct?
That is correct.
With the Kentucky National Guard. Always been an MP at heart, 31 Bravo.
Absolutely. There is no other MOS as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Well, I got 5, so don't judge me. All right. But that's unique to bring in because you've been AGR full-time since 2004. Was that correct?
Right.
2004?
November 2004.
And what I've seen over the years, myself as being a full-timer, is it's kind of unique to just have that one MOS. It seemed like everybody I had met, you always had to go a little bit of a different direction to kind of start your career, whether it been a supply, MOS or an admin of 42 Alpha. But you just having one MOS the whole time, it's kind of, to me, it's very unique. You're only the second person I've met that it's just had that one MOS. And that's great. I know you're very passionate about the MP world and
very passionate.
Live about it. Live it. And that's good. That's awesome. So. 31 Bravo, it was 6 deployments.
Yes.
6 deployments. So from what I'm tracking, the first one was Bosnia.
Correct.
In 2001, and then you went 3 times to Iraq.
Correct.
So that's a place well known for you. And then 2 more were at Southwest border.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay, yep. So I mean, knowing a lot of different expectations of operations and stuff, and all of that, I'm sure it was different each time that you went, and in different positions. So. Then you come back, and at a certain point you become an AGR full-time, and then sitting in that role, we all know there's many roles to fill in, but you've done the training NCO, the readiness NCO, operations. You were at the G3 at one point.
Correct.
And so, I mean, you're a G3 personnel, and then you've done stuff with the SPP, and then 2021 Sergeant Major, Battalion Ops, and then 2024 moved over to Brigade Operations. Correct. So, I mean, by far, climbed the ladder, and here you are, and of all things, you're the recipient of the Distinguished Service Cross. Very high honor, and I know it's for the Raven 4-2 incident in Iraq, from what I'm tracking. So, what an accommodation, and I'm thankful for you to be here today. I really am.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good. So, me and Sergeant Major, we just met yesterday.
Correct.
For the first time, face to face. So, heard all the stories. It's the Guard. We've probably been together at one point sometime in a YTB or some kind of brief and everything. So, but to get to sit down with you, I think it's going to be very exciting. And I hope you can take something from me, as I'm going to take a lot from you as we talk through this. So, so let's do this, Sergeant Major. Let's kind of jump into this. I'm just going to start you off with a question, if you don't care. How do you think we should be training?
I actually have 6 lines of effort that I believe are that everyone should have. Your personal lines of effort, and my 3rd line of effort is we train soldiers to thrive in austere, dynamic, ambiguous, and chaotic conditions with minimal sustainment. That we have to consistently put people in environments that make them uncomfortable in order for them to grow, inoculate them into all the bad things in the world so that when the bad things really happen, that they're able to thrive, not survive. They're able to thrive in anything that could come at them.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, with not just survive, right, or just get through it. Yours is, we're going to win this, right?
We're not even just win. We're going to thrive.
Yeah.
Like everything about it is going to be so easy, and it's not going to be easy, but they're going to be inoculated to the environments that they're in through that training. And your training has to be austere, dynamic, ambiguous, and chaotic. If we put soldiers in that, and it's difficult in Compo 2, with 39 days a year to train. So commanders and leaders have to consistently be looking for work and looking for opportunities to put soldiers in those environments so that when they mobilize, deploy, and close with and destroy the enemies of the United States in close combat, that it's just like they were at home.
Major, you got me pumped already. So I like the fact that you were talking about they basically got to get creative. You can't just do the same training. It can't be, I know we're shooting our weapon. I know we might be doing land nav, we might be doing the PMCSs, but there's a reason behind them. But also get a little creative of how do you change that a little bit to make it a little more austere or make it a little bit more, put you in a vulnerable situation and not just, you just go through the remedies of this is how you load a weapon. What happens when bullets are flying over your head? Or, there's you got a guy that's down and you got to do, some kind of type of teachable C with them. And I like that aspect of it. And did you, I guess starting out, because the story we'll tell later on will be over 20 years old, but obviously there's still something that still carries on in all those missions that relates back to one thing, and that's training, like train. And how's the training kind of changed in the last, 20 plus years for you that you've seen, or to stay the same, that you see stay in the course? Have you seen the difference in both, or?
The training is, the only thing that's changed with our training is the environment we're in and the technology that is developed. When it comes down to it, that the basic skills of being a soldier are the exact same as they were 150 years ago. The only thing that's changed is the weapon systems we carry and how we carry them. We have to be great at the basics. We master our MOSs, we master the combined arms process, and we master joint fires. If you can do that, you can call for fire, you can shoot your weapon, you can communicate, and that's my second line effort, and it's a given. We train soldiers that can shoot, move, communicate, decontaminate, medicate, and sustain. That those are what the basic concepts of being a soldier are, and we have to consistently do it. We have to do it so much and so well that we have to find the unconventional solutions to our conventional problems, no matter what those problems are. We can't always go back to, well, this is how we used to do it, or this is how we did do it. No, we're going to do those things because it's the basics of how we fight. We do our PCCs, we do our PCIs, we check on each other, we learn to build relationships in order to be successful on the battlefield. But in the end, being a soldier is just being a soldier. In 100 years, it'll be the same thing. It will just be in a different environment with different equipment.
Yeah. Now, that line, I want you to talk to me like I'm stupid here. I love it, though. Unconventional solutions to conventional problems. Can you give me like an example of that so people out there
Here's a really, and I won't mention the book.
No, you're good.
But
you're good.
In about 20 years, I read a book. Actually, it was in 2005. And it talked about George Washington and the problems he had in 1775, if I remember the year right, that it's talking about in the book. But he talks about retaining soldiers, feeding soldiers, and paying soldiers, that he had a dilemma at the time. And it dawned on me right then. I'm like, he was dealing with the exact same thing that we deal with today. His environment hadn't changed, or it hasn't changed. Our environment has changed.
Right.
But it's the same dilemmas, and we just have to look at it differently. It's always going to be our conventional problems.
Yeah.
But if we always go back to the same solution as we did 250 years ago now, we're not going to be able to fix that.
Right.
Because it's our area of operation, our operational environment is different. But the problems are still the same.
Yeah.
And we have to come up with those new solutions. The money is just not going to just keep coming. The sustainment is not going to keep coming. And that's why my third line is thrive in austere, dynamic, ambiguous conditions with minimal sustainment. We're not always going just to to have everything we need in order to be successful. And when you figure out that the equipment that you get might not be what you want, I won't say it's not the best. It just may not be what you want. You have to deal with that as an NCO.
Yeah.
Figure out, this is what the Army gave me. These are the parameters left and right that I can go, and then make the equipment work.
That's I feel like you're preaching to me now, because that's a good point. I mean, because it happens a lot, right? We get, I mean, it can be a Humvee, anything, a simple radio. But I feel like maybe we've kind of tailored into that point of, oh, we need the newer thing. This new thing has come out, or why ain't we getting these? And that is a very good point of having a different mindset about it. Of, hey, I got to make this work, and how can I make this work, and how can I be efficient with it? And we've won the war, so it's like obviously something's worked, and we've gotten creative enough to make that stuff work. So it's not always going to be easy. And I like that line as well, just because of the training aspect of, you're not going to get what you want, but we're going to win. Or we're going to thrive. I'm going to start using that. We're going to thrive.
We're going to thrive. I like to say that if you put a control pair in someone's chest and they keep doing bad things, you're going to switch and shoot to the ocular window. Like, just because it doesn't work like it should work doesn't mean that we stop doing it. We just adjust and make the equipment do what it needs to do.
Yeah, that's a great point. I do like that. I think that's, we could all take something from that. And I think on here, we're trying to really talk to those squad leaders, those team leaders, and with your story that we'll tell about the Raven 4-2 coming up, I think that's the biggest thing, is those squad leaders and team leaders have to push it. They have to push the training. They have to get that intent. And what they have, and limited days on a compo too, like you said, you mentioned us being M-Day, and you have the part-time soldiers coming in, which is amazing, because they come from all walks of life. And I always want to reiterate that I'm thankful to be in a full-time position, but it amazes me watching all the part-time soldiers come in, because they are the citizen soldier, but they come from all walks of life, and you expect them to hit this, these type of training events, and you have these expectations of them, and when they perform, it's amazing. And that's the biggest thing, is having those right team leads and squad leaders come in and watching them kind of kick ass. That to me, I take that to heart. I'm like, we're doing something right. We're going to win. We're going to thrive. I'm going to get it right. We're going to thrive. We're going to thrive. And I love that lethality attitude of it. So that part of it, I totally agree with you, and I love everything you're saying, Sergeant Major. So, but yeah, I think the training is what we have to focus on, and especially when it comes to funding or being at home station. I know we have to serve so many times. We're doing drills at home station, but I mean, and you've been in since Moby Dick was a minute. You've had to come up with stuff at a home station drill.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think you would agree of, you can train at home station and still be successful, and literally make those building blocks. And I like to always encourage those soldiers to do that. But is there something that you, in particular, that you always look for? Like, in the position you are now, if you go to visit a drill that's going on at home station, is there something that you like to see that's going on when you go there? And we know admin's got to happen. We know.
No, it absolutely. But we have to be creative in that time period that we have, because we're not. As important as soldiers are, and they are very important, running a close second is time. You're never getting the time back, and we have to be prepared that when the time comes, if it comes, that when we walk out the door as leaders, that we're taking the most proficient people that we can, and we have to be that creative part of that, unconventional solutions to our conventional problem is time. How do I develop young men and women to be soldiers that have the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual capability to go to places that are absolutely miserable, and with little support, and feel comfortable in the environment they are. So whether I'm standing in line waiting for a PHA, or I'm in the DFAC standing in line, that everything I do, especially at the E5, that sergeant level, that I'm developing those young men and women to be the soldiers that they'll need to possibly be one day, and not think anything but that inoculation. They are prepared in everything that goes on. My first line of effort is we build soldiers that are fit, disciplined, cohesive, and lethal. And a lot of people hear that lethal part and they think that that is shooting a weapon system. But it's just not shooting a weapon system. It encompasses all parts of lethality. And that means whether I can put a fill in a radio, whether my vehicles are equipped and maintained properly, whether I can maintain my weapon systems and then also use those weapon systems to hit my target. It's not just one part of it. Those four words honestly are interwoven together. We have to, as soldiers and as leaders, build people that can do that they're fit, they're willing to get up. And this is the truth. I get up at 4 a.m. every day. I'm at the gym by 5. I put in 2 hours, not because I think it's the greatest thing to do or I just love it so much. It's because my soldiers deserve a sergeant major that is willing to put in the effort to be physically fit in order to survive and be there with them if the time ever comes.
Right.
In turn, I deserve that too.
Yeah.
I deserve fit soldiers. I deserve disciplined soldiers. Mm-hmm. Brave men and women have fought and died, building proud traditions, fear, and reputation that we are bound to uphold daily. Those are really strong words. Yeah. But the truth is, if you're not disciplined enough to get up and be uncomfortable in your environment and stay focused on what you need to do, this isn't the job for you.
Right.
People depend on us, especially the senior leaders, to be that disciplined, and to recognize that the hardships that our soldiers go through, and then cohesive, building relationships with people that are so strong that on your worst day or their worst day, when they hear your call sign on the radio, they either want to come be with you or they're glad you just showed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what encompasses those building blocks of training.
Yeah.
They're not one word's more important than the other, but they are all interwoven in that ability to perform our job.
Right. And I mean, that's a good concept of everybody wants to do the sexy stuff, right? They want to shoot that weapon system and make it talk and stuff, but when you boil it down to, like we've talked about before, the comms, it's just as important as that weapon system.
Absolutely.
You've got to be able to communicate, or if that vehicle's got to run right, and you've got to catch those deficiencies before you ever go out to the gate. And so a lot of that stuff, I definitely 100% agree with you on that you have to be checking all the blocks to make a well-rounded warrior, and it starts from the baseline stuff. So Sergeant Major, I mean, I'm already pumped up, so let's do this. Let's take a quick break.
All right.
And when we come back, I really want to jump into that Raven 4-2 story, and we'll take off with it, and we'll really kind of dig into the training parts of it that paid off when just hell's breaking loose, but how you thrived at that point.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
Have you ever been feeling down? You just don't feel like yourself, and you just feel like, I'm hungry all the time, or I'm not getting my nutrition? Well, we have somebody from you. The MRE, for the meal ready to eat, is at your side at all moments. It'll give you all the calories you need, like 20,000. You should be able to maintain for a week. And it also has your little heater that is encompassed in the bag. So take your spouse on a date, a little picnic, throw that chili mac in a heater. Actually, we got creamy spinach fettuccine. But it can be good for you, the soldier, or a date night, whatever. But meal ready to eat, always at our side. Thank you. Sergeant Major, welcome back.
Right.
Hey, you're smiling.
Yeah.
You're smiling. I like it. All right, here we go. So
creamy fettuccine, or spinach fettuccine, I don't think would be my best pick for a date. But
well, you're not an Italian guy, or
no,
is it just
no,
great. Well, I take you as a George Strait guy. You listen to country music?
Oh, absolutely.
Nailed it. Who's your favorite artist? Let's go down this path for just a second.
Have to be the King.
Really?
Yeah.
I nailed that.
Yeah.
We didn't even talk. Admit it.
Yeah.
Let everybody know. I
not
nailed
even talk. Take me to Texas.
I like it.
Yeah.
Amarillo by morning and all that. I love it. So yeah, I was like, I could just see him in that Stetson.
Yeah.
Back in the day doing that line dance. Did you dance?
Oh, I still do.
I love it. All right, we'll do that one here in a minute.
All
so
right.
stay tuned, everybody. Me and Sergeant Major are going to do some line dancing, but
I don't know if we're going that far.
Don't get everybody's hopes up.
Yeah.
All right, well, welcome back. We have covered a lot of the training aspect from Sergeant Major Nine's perspective over the years, and we've kind of hit some highlight points of the one I just want to take away is we're going to thrive. We're going to thrive. We're going to win, but we're going to thrive in any environment we're put in or any mission we have. And I think to really kind of drive that home is I really want to jump into that Raven 4-2 story. Well-known story that took place in Iraq, and it was an ambush from what I'm tracking. And I'm not going to go too far with it. I'm going to let you kind of talk about it. But before we kind of go, go into it? Can we put this picture up just real quick? So we had brought in the picture that's been depicted of the scene. I'm going to kind of hold it. Hopefully the camera can capture it. But can you just kind of talk about this picture here?
Yeah, as you see on the far left, it's an overall depiction of several different scenes, several things going on one time. Far left, you see now First Sergeant Leanne Hester. She was a sergeant then. She was my Bravo team leader. See her to the left. You see me immediately to her right, and then just on the other side is Sergeant Morris, and now Sergeant First Class Casey Cooper. You see up in the turret on his 50 cal. You see farther down, you saw Bill Haynes. He's up in the turret on his 50 cal. And then you see what looks like a couple people fighting in the far distance down like the road a little bit. They're shooting at anti-Iraqi forces. And then our medic specialist, Jason Mike, at the time, he's looks like he's trying to drag someone back as he's performing his medical duties on injured soldiers.
And that's just seeing that alone, it kind of tells a story, right? The picture does, and very well done. So I just want to bring some, attention to it, especially if you're listening out there. It's a very well put together picture, kind of explaining everything and encompasses it in one thing, So I kind of want to recognize that before we get started on the actual story. So let's dive into Raven 4-2.
All right.
Where did that name come from?
It was our Raven was our company call sign, Raven, and then we were the 4th platoon, and I was 2nd squad. Okay. So 4-2 is what we went across consistently. If you were 3rd platoon, you were 3-1. If you were 1st platoon and you were the 1st squad, you were 1-1. Right. So, but Raven was our overall call sign.
Okay. So let's just walk me through it. Tell me and you can jump in kind of wherever you want to go and wherever you want to start, and we'll take the ride with you. For the audience out there, and as you speak, we'll just kind of talk about as we go some of those important qualities of what you did to train at those moments that you were thriving. Let's put it that way. What you did at that moment of, hey, I'm glad we did this in the rear, or we were doing this on the pre-mob area, But let's start wherever you want to start, Sergeant Major. How the day went, or however you want to do it. So.
We'll start in September of 2004.
Okay.
First time I ever met everyone in the squad. Was in Richmond, Kentucky at the Armory. I'm sorry, was in Bowling Green at our detachment in Bowling Green, Kentucky at the Armory. My initial concept this would have been my 2nd tour as a squad leader in Iraq. I'd just come back less than a year before with the 223rd MP Company, and volunteered to go with the 617th as a squad leader. And AAR and myself as a squad leader looking for what I could have done better. One of it was building cohesiveness. Mm-hmm. So immediately what I wanted to do was build that group of people that fit the organization in order to be successful.
Right.
So I meet everyone in September. Only a couple, Bill Haynes and Brian Mack were the Alpha Team gunner and driver. They had been lifelong friends. Mm-hmm. Specialist Jesse Ordonez and Sergeant Dustin Morris, they had been friends. They had actually volunteered to come from the 438th to go on the mission with us. But besides that, no one knew each other.
And that's a guard thing.
That's a guard thing.
You get thrown in these teams, and first thing is that you have to. The cohesion has to work.
You have to start to develop it, and that's what leaders have to do.
Right.
They have to look at, okay, how do we become so cohesive that everyone is bought in? Mm-hmm. Started there. We trained up. Went to our MOB site. Started to build that more. Build our TTPs as a group of how we were going to fight. Set that foundation of who we are and what we're going to do.
Right.
Arrived in Iraq in November. We're on Camp Liberty, Pad 12, straight across from the De Fleury DFAC, for those that know. did MSR patrols for the majority of the time. Every now and then we'd have convoy escorts, but the majority was either on Tampa South, Route Sword, Route Force, Tampa North, Route Mobile, and then where this incident was Route Detroit, where every week and a half, 2 weeks or so, we would switch routes for patrols depending on where the convoys were going to go through in order to disrupt the anti-Iraqi forces, so they didn't know. By the time they started getting set up, we would switch routes, and now they had to go and switch how they were going to do attacks. The eastern route, we would call that was Route Mobile. It went up past Abu Ghraib, past Fallujah, and then would come back around to Camp Anaconda. So we would patrol that, and then with the central route would come up Tampa South over to Force, up through Sword, and into Tampa North all the way up to Anaconda. And then in this instance, Route Detroit was what we called the eastern route. We had several instances, IED strikes, small arms attacks, up to 7 to 10 AIF, anti-Iraqi forces. And each time these things happened, I'm a really big believer in AARs, whether it's internal AARs or external, like with your group, learning from what I like to say, what we did well and what we can do better. Our daily missions would start, our daily ramp-ups would be 2 hours before mission. And so we were either generally on 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. or we were on 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So if we had to be on the route by 7 a.m. to go do almost law enforcement patrols. So if you can imagine 3 Humvees going out on patrol looking for anti-Iraqi forces, looking for bad guys, and then helping convoys or other elements that maybe broke down or needed assistance. That's what military police do.
So you were essentially just kind of falling in on convoy routes, basically.
Exactly.
Kind of just patrolling.
Just like we call it support to security and mobility. And it would be just like being at home, any other law enforcement patrol, except you're in 3 vehicles. There's 10 of us total, nine military police soldiers and a squad leader. So each truck had at least 3, and then I would ride along with one of the different trucks each mission. So we would ramp up 2 hours before. So if it was 7 a.m., they had to be out at the truck. We'd probably wake up at 4:30, get a shower, get dressed, get ready. I would meet the gunners at the ISU 90 to start getting their weapons, crew serve weapons out. The team leaders and drivers would meet at the trucks, and they would all pull them around. And we would spend the next 2 hours ramping up, getting all our equipment ready, doing PCCs, doing PCIs, making sure everything was going to function right, lubricating every weapon system so that we knew it wouldn't fail. That included, and it takes a lot of discipline to take your LSAT and lube up a Mark 19 to the extent that you know it's going to be absolutely filthy at the end of the day and how much work you're going to have to put in it. But that's that discipline that you have to have.
Because you know if you have to engage,
it's got to work.
It's going to pay off.
It's going to pay off.
Yeah, to make sure it's working, other than I got to clean this tonight because of the sand and everything else.
And when I say that in 2005, that every patrol, it either happened to you, you rolled up on something that it just happened to somebody else, or your other patrol squad, your battle squad, your sister or brother squad that was out there on the route with you, it happened to them. Like, it was constant. This wasn't just like, hey, it may happen. It's going to happen every night that you went out for a year. So we go for the next 6 months. We have engagements, small engagements with anti-Iraqi forces, a lot of IEDs, constant IEDs. Been hit by more IEDs than I think I even know at this time.
You remember the first one?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, my first one was in 2003 when I was in Iraq, but I guess my second one was Checkpoint 50. And my first one was actually right outside of Abu Ghraib, right outside of Mobil, when we were looking for people that were mortaring us in 2003. We were on a task force to go find and eliminate those people. But my second was Checkpoint 50, in the turn to go from Sword onto Force going north, and it was in what looked like a file cabinet, and it was hidden. And we looked at it and we thought, that doesn't look right.
Yeah.
When we went by the first time, and because it fell off on the right side, instead of in the turn, it should have fell off on the left side.
Right.
So we thought, that don't look right. So we came back up and we sat on it for a second, and we're looking at it, and it's dark, can't already tell. I said, hey, I'm just going to do a real quick drive-by and see what happens, and see if I can get a better look at it. So I've got my flashlight, I'm going to shine at it, and as I do drive by, it blows up. And luckily, it's only we're driving M1114s, and it's probably only one 155 round, 2 at the most, and they're pretty sustainable. You might get a flat tire. And I got lucky. I said, as a matter of fact, I went back and I told Sergeant Hester after that, I said, we're never doing that again.
Yeah, heck no. There's your AR.
There was my AR on that one. We're not doing it like that anymore. Yeah. So we learned from it, and we didn't do it like that anymore.
Okay. Well, all right, going back, you're 6 months in, you're getting a couple little ticks here and there in IEDs. So
we had honestly gotten to the point we had on Route Detroit that I won't say we'd figured them out, but I'd learned quite a bit about the enemy TTPs, tactics, techniques, and procedures that they were doing. And a lot of it was, most of the hits were coming from the south. They would come up in sedans that were way faster than ours. They would do hit and run techniques, and then they would move back down south off of Route Detroit into Salman Pak. And that was a really big stronghold for any Iraqi forces. There was the intelligence that I got later was there was a network of Iraqi special forces soldiers that were still left over living in that area, and that's how they were feeding that. So at this point, we set down the route. We get other support to help with security while we're recovering these semi-trucks, tractor trailers. And we do some medevacs in there, get those people, the third country nationals out. And we stay out all night, pulling security, recovering everything. And that next morning on the 19th, we go back to camp. I can't even remember that we would it wasn't Liberty. We'd go out to a different one. I'll think of it here in a second. Cuervo, Camp Cuervo, and we were stationed there when we'd go out on the western route. So we go back, and I pull everybody together that morning, and like, hey, recover everything, get everything set, go down, do what you need to do. In the morning, we'll sleep through this evening, but I'm tired of these AIF. I'm tired of these bad guys doing this. And we're all in a group. And I said, I'm tired of it. And when we go back out tomorrow, it was our last day on the eastern route. Like, I don't want to quit till if they come back out to fight, I want to be there. I want to be ready. I do not want to get caught behind on these guys again. I want this stopped. And everybody was in agreement. These guys, they're tired, they've been up all night, and now I see the enthusiasm of they're bought in that we're going to go stop these guys. Get up the next morning, 20 March 2005, and do our 2 hours worth of prep, just like any other day. We've got to be out on the route 7. We usually do one pass through or 2, waiting on the convoys to be able to start to come through, and clear it for any IEDs, make sure there's nothing out there, and then we start to track them on our the Blue Force Tracker, FBCB2. We start to see them when they come through. Stallion 3-3 from 623 Field Artillery from Kentucky's coming south onto Detroit. There's a turn where they're coming south, and then they kind of go to the east, or it runs east-west, and they make the turn. I come in behind them, and they've stopped in the road, and I get out and I talk to their squad leader, and they're doing a refueling at that point, pouring 5-gallon cans in their trucks so they're up on fuel and they don't get too low. We talk for a few minutes, and I explain to them, I'm like, hey, if something happens, we're going to be shadowing you through our area of responsibility. What I need you to do is keep pushing through the area. We're going to move to contact If you break down, whatever, don't worry about it. We'll take care of that stuff.
Yeah.
You just get your people through the kill zone.
Push through.
And they agreed, acknowledge it, and we come back. I get it set up in the truck, and we're kind of dispersed a little bit at this point to give them more security. They take off and start moving. I'm in the lead truck that day. Sergeant Hester's in the middle truck, and then Sergeant Joe Rivera's in our trail truck. So we start moving down, and we're probably 5 minutes down the road. And I can hear something, some popping noises, and I'm like, that sounds like big gunfire, maybe a little explosion. And now Sergeant First Class Cooper, but then Specialist Cooper, starts kicking onto the floor, and he actually kicks me in the shoulder to get my attention. And he says he's sitting down, but he stood up, and he's sitting down, and he yells down into the truck, like, I hear him shooting, I hear him shooting. And I could tell what was going on at that point, so I pick up the radio, and at the time there was another fight going on to the north, and it didn't even dawn on me what the day was. Yeah. This is 20 March of 2005. It's the two-year anniversary of the liberation force to Iraq. And what I didn't even, it should have dawned on me that, hey, there's probably, they may try to make a statement today, but it didn't. So there's another fight going on to the north, and our J-Stars was a plane that flew above Iraq and would be used as a relay station.
Yeah.
Their call sign was Handcuff.
Okay.
So I call up to Handcuff, and I advise him, this is Raven 4-2, we've got an ambush going on, and a couple miles ahead of us, we believe, but I'll call you back with the grid.
Yeah.
And he acknowledges, and I hang the mic up. I call back on the other one to the rest of the squad and explain, hey, we're going to move to contact. And so when I get up and I recognize the field that I'm at, through previous reconnaissance, I knew like exactly where I was at, and I knew there was a road adjacent to it. So to this day, I remember grabbing the mic and looking over at my plugger and reading off the grid, calling up, and I got an acknowledgement, and I told him I need close air support now. I still don't know how big the force is.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be 7 to 10. And I'm like, hey, if I get to that corner and can make that turn and get the squad down that road,
right,
I can cut these guys off.
You can have it.
I can shut these guys down. I figure 7 to 10. No big deal. 3 up-armed Humvees. My front truck's got a 50 cal with and a 249. My middle truck has a Mark 19 and a 240 supplementing it on dual weapon system. Plus he's got a 249. And my trail truck has a 50 cal and a 249.
Yeah.
Like we got this.
I got the weapons. We're coming at you. That's the attitude.
So we get to it. I'm looking out, and to my right is where they are. They're to the south of us, and I see people out in an orchard field.
Yeah. Did it register then? Like
I saw
these are the
7
guys.
to 10.
Still.
Got it.
Yeah.
Like no big deal. What I didn't see was the other 25.
Shit. Okay.
That were in a more fortified position in a dry canal ditch that was parallel to the main supply route or alternate supply route. I get to the corner, start to make the turn, and I feel a huge explosion on my truck. And just a second or so after it, I hear just a large impact of, it was a RPK, hits my back window. And I'm hearing stuff on my door as well. But when that explosion goes off, I go to check on Specialist Cooper. Mind you, he's been up in the turret shooting as soon as we get into that field.
Right. He was engaging right.
He was engaging as soon as we got to the ability. Yeah. We've gotten on the contact side. Convoy's on our left. We're on the right. We're in between. He's engaging.
Well, let's do this before we go too far. Then let's pause there, and then when we come back, I want to jump in. We're killing bad guys at this point, right? Yeah. We're engaging. So I mean, to kind of take back what we've said so far is, you followed your loadouts. You're making sure everybody's, they're ready to engage. The morale's up, but the weapons are getting clean. The trucks are being prepared every night. Y'all been doing this for a while, and all of a sudden, it's the times now. We're fighting, and I think you can take a lot of that back to your training. Mm-hmm. Is sticking to those TTPs and literally going back and doing your discipline of checking everybody, your PCCs and PCIs. So let's do this. Take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to go into the engagement.
All right,
that work.
this day in Army history, March 20th, 2005, the Palm Sunday ambush took place in Iraq. A military police squad whose call sign was Raven 42 was shadowing a convoy when it was ambushed by 50 Al-Qaeda insurgents. The three MP Humvees rushed into the kill zone where during a 40-minute firefight, Staff Sergeant Tim Nine and Sergeant Leanne Hester attacked the enemy through 2 trenches. Meanwhile, the team medic, Specialist Jason Mike, was caring for 3 soldiers while firing rifles to keep the enemy from outflanking the team. In the end, 33 enemy were killed or wounded with only 3 MPs injured. Nine was awarded a Distinguished Service Cross. Hester and Mike were each awarded the Silver Star, but Hester's Silver Star made her the first woman ever to receive the award for direct action against the enemy. For more information about the Army's proud history, go to history.army.mil.
All right, so welcome back. So as you're tuning in, you've heard, hey, the setup for Raven 42 here was Sergeant Major Nine, and how they use their TTPs and SOPs to be successful in their discipline on their convoy routes and everything. And now we've moved into the fight. We're here. And as you had spoke before the break, that as y'all made the turn onto that one route that you remembered, Specialist Cooper, now Sergeant First Class Cooper, was already engaging. He's engaging.
I tell Sergeant Morris, as we're getting up to that road, to make the right down that road, and I yell at him, I want to cut these guys off. So as we're in that turn, I hear the explosion, I hear the RPK fire hit the truck, and I turn to look, and Cooper's not up in the turret anymore. I look down, and I see him with his head and his left arm face down in the wheel well behind me. I think he's dead.
Yeah.
I start to crawl up onto the 50 cal, and he springs back to life and says, I'm okay, and he gets back up on the 50 cal, and I start to hear it go off immediately.
Was that from that RPG?
That was from the RPG.
It knocked him down into the truck, though.
So I crawl back into my seat, and I turn, and we're all the way into that turn now, and I look up, and I count them, 7 vehicles, and all their doors are open. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking, that's at least 28 guys.
And you were assuming 7 to 10.
I was assuming 7 to 10.
Right.
I recognize now that I just committed my force to a force almost 3 times the size. And what I didn't know was it was really almost 5 times the size.
Right.
I yelled at Morris to yell or drive down the road about 300 yards because my objective was to get down that road, cut them off, but be about 100 yards apart each so that we had good fields of fire, but were dispersed enough that we wouldn't be as easy a target. Right. We get down there as I'm looking out the right window, and I'm looking for targets and who that we need to kill and things like that. Rounds are hitting the truck, and I'm thinking, there's no way even this M1114 vehicle is going to be able to stop this many bullets hitting the truck. And I also see something on the windshield, and I'm thinking it's dirt. And I turn, and it's out of my peripheral vision, and I turn and look, and it's oil. And then I realized how serious this I've really gotten us into.
Yeah.
That there's at least 10 guys out there. I don't know how many. I've committed my force, and it's probably more like 30. I've committed my force, and my ride out of here is spewing oil all over the windshield. Damaged. I look back to my right, and I see a guy with an RPG out in the field, and I can promise you this guy, I'm getting out of the truck.
Yeah.
So we stop, I exit the vehicle and run over to the berm and start to engage that guy. Sergeant Hester comes up on my right, Sergeant Morris comes up on her right. So we're on line. Gunners are shooting. Specialist Pullen has exited the vehicle. On the non-contact side, there's a large berm that held back a wet canal behind us. I felt like we had good cover because of that from anything from behind us. She's on the main ASIP radios, SINGARs, and she's on handheld talking back and forth to me. Gunfire's going back and forth. One of the hardest things about even talking about this story is when you see the video of the anti-Iraqi forces took, and you hear all the gunfire, and all that gunfire is outgoing gunfire. It's not incoming. It's them shooting at the convoy. But then when you start to talk about it after you watch the video, it's quiet like it is now.
Really?
Like it's not quiet. It's their fire coming at us, 50 cals, 240s, Mark 19s going off. They're shooting RPGs. It's
chaos.
It's chaos. Well, it's controlled chaos.
Right.
We're still in control, and we're going to remain in control. We start to take fire from the berm above us and a house behind us. Specialist Cooper yells out that he needs a grenade, and he points at where he needs a grenade at. And this is what our auditory exclusion is, the ability to hear things when you shouldn't be able to. We're having conversations just like now.
Yeah.
Our auditory exclusion kicks in where the sound doesn't bother us. I throw a grenade, blow this guy up, come back down, and when I do, Pullen yells at me and says, Sergeant Rivera's been shot. And I look down and I see Rivera on the ground on his back. He had stopped his vehicle where the main canal was, where the majority of the anti-Iraqi forces are. I see him on his back, and he's kind of going back and forth. And later, when I asked him later, he's been shot through just about an inch to the left of the navel, and it didn't disrupt his spine, but it was enough that he couldn't move his legs. Later, he's able to walk with no problem, but he's trying to get back into the fight. He's rolling back and forth, and he's trying to get his weapon into it. I see the driver, PFC Mac, he's on the ground too, but I can't tell what's going on. Haynes, the gunner, he's got an M9 in his left hand, and I see him fooling with the 50 cal. So what I didn't know, and he tells me later after he's been medevac, because he ends up getting shot in the hand, that he was trying to reload and fight at the same time, the 50 cal. But what really sticks out more than anything, even all those images, is my medic, Specialist Mike. He's got an M4 in his right hand and an M249 in his left, and he's shooting in two different directions. And I realized just how serious we really are. I've got a truck that could be overrun at any time, and that if he's shooting in a direction that I don't even realize that we have enemy forces at, and there's another 15 guys that can see them that are just to the east of our position, that have also started to engage the 1075th Transportation Company to the south, that have stopped before they thought they got in the kill zone, but they didn't realize how big the kill zone was.
And this, I mean, the medic's out there like Rambo, just
like Rambo.
slinging.
If I could tell you that it looked just like something you would see.
Yeah.
He's shooting a 249 with his left hand and an M4 with the right, and he's looking back and forth, so I knew there was a lot going on.
But in your mind, you're like, oh shit,
it really was. Here we go. I thought that there was just no chance we were getting out of this.
Yeah.
Ordonez yells down at me. Poland's here, the truck's here. They're down to they're to the north of us. That we're getting shot at from the house. And I tell him to swing the Mark 19 around and engage the house. And he does. I remember the explosions of it hitting the house, about 5 rounds. At this point, I realize I've got to tell Handcuff what's going on. So I'll go back to the truck. I'm on the contact side. Specialist Cooper is shooting above me, 50 cals going off. Sergeant Hester and Sergeant Morris are shooting their M203s, their M4s. And I pick the hand mic up, and I tell Handcuff, I just yell out, Handcuff is Raven 42, be advised we're a squad-size element fighting a platoon-size element. I need close air support now. I drop, and while I'm doing that, I'm hitting kill on the FBCB2.
Right, sending it.
It's time to start destroying equipment.
Yeah.
And I remember saying those last words and going, it says, do you really want to do this? And I'm thinking, yeah, I do, but I don't believe I even have time to hit it again.
Yeah.
So I drop the hand mic and I come back online with Sergeant Hester.
And that's to destroy the equipment.
To start to
destroy everybody
equipment.
Knows, yes.
Yeah. Well,
just in case.
I really thought we were going to be overrun.
Yeah.
But in my brain, I thought, are my people more important, or is this equipment? I thought we could get by. Even if we got overrun, I felt like it was the right thing to do was to get back in the fight.
Yeah.
Drop the hand mic, go back over. Sergeant Hester's to my left, Sergeant Morris is to my right. I look at Hester and I look at Morris, and now they're turning, they're looking at me. They're only a couple feet apart, and I explained to them that Sergeant Rivera and Mac have been shot, and I think their truck's going to be overrun. We need to go into the canal and start fighting these guys. I know that they're in the canals now.
Yeah.
When I look at Morrison, I need you to flank us and clear these vehicles as we go, because I was afraid someone would shoot down from the vehicles that may be hiding in them. About that, turned to Sergeant Hester before I could say, "Are you ready?" Tell her she's going with me. She raises her rifle, and I remember it going off, and I look to my right, and there's a guy running from the cars trying to get into that ditch that's in front of us, where there's a small, about the size of this, maybe not even this tall as this table. We're on a knee behind it for cover. And she raises, I turn, and she shoots, and I turn and look, and a guy collapses. And I turn back around and say, "You ready?" And she says, "Yes." So we jump into the ditch in front of us. What I didn't realize at the time is while they were shooting their M203s and I was back with taking care of the stuff behind us, they had actually run out of M203 ammo. Our previous training, one thing that with the 320s or the 203s that we very rarely do is we have good OCTs that you look at your team leaders, and when you have an issue, you need to engage something that doesn't have a mile system with it, as you direct that fire in. You say, troops in the open 200 meters, whatever it is, and 203 HEDP, or HE, and they go through steps, they shoot it, and then the OCT should say, "Hey, you hit or you missed, you were short, you were long, you were left, you're right."
Do the adjustment.
Do the adjustments, and then they walk through, so it gets it in your brain to use the equipment.
Yeah. Because
if not, we forget about it. If we don't constantly use the equipment. Well, this whole time they're shooting their 203s, they've run out of 203 ammo. Sergeant Moore stays in the fight shooting his rifle. Sergeant Hester runs back, not to her vehicle that's 50 yards behind my vehicle, but to my vehicle, because she knows our loadout is identical and everything. She loads all her vest up with 203s. She gets several for Sergeant Morris, and she runs back over and hands those under fire.
Right.
So that he's up on his 203 rounds. Now they're re-engaging with those. So we've gone through all that. That's happened while I was gone. I come back, we go into the canal system, and we start to engage for any Iraqi forces that are in there. And these guys aren't just like standing there. They're shooting AKMs, AK-47s at us.
Yeah.
I tell Hester, I'm like, "Shoot your 203. Let's see if we can get that." Because there's just a little bend that we're hiding behind. It's not much. She shoots that, and we're so close that we can't get that round to stay into that canal. It goes out into the field. So she stacks up on behind me. All we have is my ballistic vest, and we're now going to move step by step closer to these guys shooting. And I remember as I'm squared up, moving about 20, 30 yards at the most, these guys are away from us at the time. I remember feeling overpressure from her gun go off, and I could feel the heat. And when I say I can still feel it today, I still feel the overpressure hitting me in the face 20 years later. Yeah. And I remember glancing over to it going, "Man, that barrel's like that, like it's literally right there." And I'm like, "It's working, Tim, just keep fighting."
Yeah, keep going.
So I'm shooting, she's shooting, and I remember the first guy hitting him like almost right away, square in the chest with 3 rounds. And I can see the impacts, but he's still standing there shooting at me. So I'd started the day with 11 magazines at M4. I've already gone through, I go through 7 total that day, but every chance I had to reload, I did. I never ran dry on a mag, and neither did she. I've got 3 hand grenades, M67s, so I tell her I'm gonna throw a grenade. So she covers me while I throw, she's shooting, I throw a grenade, it blows up, the first guy goes down. We shoot a couple more in inches, and they're still shooting at us, and the rounds are literally kicking up around us, and I have no idea, except for discipline, of why they weren't hitting us. They're just shooting.
Yep.
I throw another one. I've already thrown one. Then I threw one up on the berm. Now I'm in the canal. I've thrown my second one. Now I throw my third one, and the guy goes down. There's one guy left. She's shooting. She says, I tell her to throw a grenade. She says, you throw the grenade, I'll cover you. She hands me one of her grenades. I throw the fourth one for the day. It goes off. Last guy goes down. We move through the canal where those guys are. It's almost become quiet. Let me step back though. So while we're doing that, I hear 2 distinct explosions while we're still fighting these 3 to 4 guys in there. And I didn't know what it was. Later find out we were still taking fire from the house, and without any coordination between Specialist Cooper and Specialist Mike, 2 different locations shoot AT4s at that house to stop the guy that was shooting up there. So we get through those guys. Now, mind you, my medic came out with an M9. That's all the weapon system he had on. He shot his M9 till he was black. He picks up an M4, he's shooting it. He's picked up an M249 shooting it. Now he shot an AT4. Proficient. One of the things in training, I always talk about continual training. Right. Just because you're doing a job every day doesn't mean you're doing it. A couple of weeks before, we're doing continual training on our reset day when we do all our maintenance, and then we train on something that afternoon. And Specialist Mike walks by, and he was our platoon medic. It wasn't my medic. He just happened, he liked to ride out with us. And we're training on the AT4, doing going back through the steps of how it all works and on, so everybody knows. And I said, hey man, come over here and train with us. And he's like, I don't need to train on AT4. It's going to be a real bad day if I ever have to use an AT4. 3 weeks later, he's using an AT4.
Those words came true.
So cross-training and continual training of all weapon systems and all jobs is critical on your worst day.
It improved right there.
It improved. It was proven that it needs to happen.
Yeah.
So we get through those guys in the canal, fighting, the gunfire's stopped. I look up, I make eye contact with Bill Haynes and the gunner in that trail truck. I give him a ceasefire. I was afraid we would have blue on blue. Yeah. I'm thinking about those things. He acknowledges me. I look at Hester and Morris, knowing that I need medics up there, but I still got a canal to clear. And I tell him, go up there and give Poland, who had actually consolidated that vehicle back, to give them support and go help them. So they go up, start doing CLS stuff. I get to the end of the canal where it's a turn to the left, and squad leader from Stallion 3-3 is there, and I ask him if he can go on down through, and he agrees, and we move on down through the canal. And that point, either everyone is either dead from the bad guys are dead, or they're severely wounded, and except for the very last person, and he was unscathed.
Right. Man. And it's and I know there's more to the story. Yeah. But hearing that, I mean, number one, thanks for sharing that. I know it's like stuff like that's not easy, but your tactics, everything sounds like, you know, you thrived. You thrived. And I know there was probably certain times you're like, shit, what are we going to do? But it was like you just kept pushing through. You kept pushing the morale, and it seemed like everybody was in sync with with Leanne going back to your vehicle to get the 203 rounds, not hers, because of the loadout plan. Yeah. And I think that's the thing. If we want to take it, you know, stuff from even a combat story like that, is that training 100% paid off. Yeah. Because you're all here. And
sorry, I would like to add, because I think it's a really good. So one of the TTPs we'd come up with when we first got in country, we didn't have all the load-bearing stuff on our ballistic vest,
right?
And so we get handed out in the bandoliers. I think to this day I carry a bandolier with 6 mags in it. One of the things we did was we hung bandoliers on the back of our seats.
Got you.
So in the thought process was, if you ran out of ammo and needed it, instead of had them in mags, which we did before, in ammo cans, you could just reach in and grab a bandolier and you were up 6 mags. Or maybe you couldn't get back to the truck, and maybe the gunner could reach down and throw it to you. So Specialist Mike picks up the M4 and he's shooting. He doesn't have M4 mags on him,
right?
Just M9.
That's a good point.
He goes black on that one mag that he's got there. He yells up to Bill Haynes, the gunner, I need ammo. Bill reaches down and grabs that bandolier and throws it to him, and he's up 6 mags like right away. Like the planning, how we fight is critical in everything we do. From even just that preparatory, even if it's a dry race board, of like, hey, what's this in? And we did these things. Draw out what this, who's going to do what, no matter. The trail truck's going to do this. Middle truck sets up a base of fire, and then if the front truck is going to flank or whatever it's going to be. Those are the things that people see and do, and that's why when I say those unconventional solutions to our conventional problems, you can stand in PHA line with your squad and talk about how we fight. There's nothing that stops it, because you have to come up, and we have to I won't say most, I will say some squad leaders and team leaders don't realize how empowered they are. That we won, and I've talked to Sergeant Major Withers about the squad leader LDP from last year that I don't think some of them got it. And that we're empowering them to lead.
Yeah.
That they're the ones that are going to have to come up with it on the battlefield.
Right.
Nobody's. My second rule of a gunfight is nobody's coming to save you. First rule is everything's your responsibility. Second is nobody's coming to save you. Now the truth is we are, because we're never leaving a fallen comrade.
But you got to keep the mentality.
But you don't know what the timeline's going to be. You don't know how long you have. You have to roll out, whether it's on the battlefield or you're leaving your house every day. That is your line of departure. And when you roll out and you have in your brain that nobody's coming to save you, that it's all up to you to figure this out, your life will change.
There you go. And keeping that mentality. I mean, I think that's a good mindset with everyday life. I mean, I know we're in the uniform and stuff too, but like you said, I mean, even just everyday living, always have a plan and stuff like that, and it always pays off to know that. And once again, I mean, there's so much you could take from this story, and I want to put it out there. I know we didn't cover everything. I know we didn't. It's just the time frames and stuff like that. But I know you're going to cover it again February, I think, at the LDP. So hopefully, even then, I hope you're going to definitely have time for that to dig a little deeper and put out some more of that story, because people want to hear it. People want to hear it. It's the first time I heard it all together from the horse's mouth, and I didn't call you a horse.
No,
that's a saying, right? Everybody knows it is a saying.
A horse is strong. I'll take it as a compliment.
Yeah, so I get to hear it from you, and I just hearing it, I mean, it even motivates me, Sergeant Major, to hear that and know that, you know, you did stuff for a reason, and it paid off. And in real life scenario, it paid off. And thank you for sharing that. But with that, appreciate you being here today and telling that story. I think it's going to be great for people to hear. And once again, I know we'll cover it a little bit more in February, that you'll tell that story. And hopefully we'll get another recording or something. That way we can kind of push it out. And your message being, hey, we're empowering you to take those roles and be a leader and really train to, you know, your survivability and your lethality and to push your soldiers. And I think the message will definitely be received. And I hope this gets out too, that it just doesn't fall on deaf ears. This is what we're here to do. We're here to push the training, get creative, and let's win the wars. Let's win the fight. Let's thrive. Let's thrive. But I got something for you before we go.
All right.
If you don't care, I got you a little gift from the G3. I'm a very creative person.
All right.
But I'm shitty at putting stuff together. But I think I did a great job on this one. I got you your own Raven 4.2. That's you up there in the I know you probably wasn't up there the whole day, but I got your rifles on there. I sold them myself. Good craftsmanship, so people can see. Yeah, look, it's got the Raven 4.2 on the door. We got badass Raven up, ready to take lives, and it even has the G3P for the G3
All right,
podcast.
wonderful. It'll be on my desk.
I hope so. I hope it's always up there, Sergeant Major. Once again, hey,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming in and doing that. Once again, from my heart, I appreciate you. Okay.
My pleasure.
All right, and with that, so. We're wrapping up with Sergeant Major 9, and once again, we'll probably hear more of his story later on at LDP. But for everybody out there, I hope that you're well. I hope you're taking care of yourself and your battle buddy. And if anything else, enjoy life, be healthy, and stay lethal. We're signing off from the G3 podcast, the G3P, 6th Bayonet. We'll see you next episode.
Thank you for joining us on the Kentucky National Guard G3 podcast, where we bring you the voices and stories behind the mission. Stay connected, stay ready, and we'll see you on the next episode.